We're with Abbie Wright, SPU volleyball coach. Abbie's Falcons are getting ready to open their season this week in the Falcon-Wildcat Invitational. 2 matches here at SPU, 1 over at Central. Abbie, team's been going for a couple weeks in practice. What have you seen out there so far? What are your impressions of this group?
Yeah, pretty proud of the work that we've put in. We've been doing some long days, and I think it's just hopefully going to reflect on the court of how the hours that they've been putting in and the effort and just the team building things that we've been doing. So it's been good.
You got a little bit of match experience in a scrimmage last Saturday. What did you see out there that struck you positive, and maybe some things you need to work on as well? What stood out?
Let's see. I think, serving passing is a big key in volleyball. If you can serve and you can pass, good things will happen. So in the scrimmage, looking at those numbers and how we're doing with that, and I thought we did a good job in both those areas. And then just figuring out personnel, figuring out the type of speed that we need to play at, the type of speed that we need to reset ourselves with. And so I think it's just kind of working out the kinks with some live match experience, and then how's our bench going to respond, all those dynamics. I think that scrimmage helped solidify some of those things.
You got a very talented group of returners back. Talk about some of them and your expectations from some of those players this year.
Yeah, I think for returners, especially this year, it's key because now we're returning as coaches, and so for the returners that are coming back, they're even a little bit more well seasoned with what we want and our expectations and the mindset and how we think and things like that. So I think for us, the experience is going to go beyond just on-court experience, but even more so how we prepare, how we think, how we want them to think, those kind of things. I think that is the biggest piece that we're not, trying to re-explain ourselves. I think that experience will prove well for us, for sure.
Okay. You've also got 3 newcomers out there. Talk about what you've seen from them so far through the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, they're great kids. They all have 3 different stories. One of them's a grad student, one of them has 2 years left of eligibility, one of them's a true freshman. So they're all coming in with from 3 different locations, from 3 different backgrounds, college experience, not college experience. So they add a lot of different areas of new, and they add just kind of the right pieces that our team needed. And off the court, they're really great kids. So they've been meshing well with the girls that we already have.
Excellent. Last year's team went 15-13. You pulled out some 5-gamers in there. You played well against some other teams that went to the NCAA tournament. What are a couple of big takeaways from you from last season heading into this year?
I think, it's easy to look at your record and then, pick apart some things on paper, but I think a lot of those games didn't reflect on paper kind of what I saw, and it's helpful seeing the conference already. I feel like I'm not going in blind this year, but to see kind of exactly what we're going to face. We had some really good spring prep that helped us, and some games in spring that I think will help us for this fall. So there's a lot going into it. I think the record is the record, and if we can go out and play tough and learn and use some of the things that we learned last year to our advantage, I think in just how to compete smarter. I think that's a big thing for us. I think competing smarter, some of those games go our way. I think that'll be really helpful. But I think going into this year, if we compete smart and we play hard, I don't know if that's our record. If it is and we've tried our best, then great. But if not, I think maybe some of those tough 5-game losses go our way this year.
And I know you're big on telling your players, trust the process.
Yeah.
Is that something you're still emphasizing this year as well?
Yeah, I think I'm telling myself that too, to just trust the process. And I think everybody has to do that, whether you're 2 years in or you're 20 years in. You have to really have a process and trust it, and can't be focused on how you're going to finish or the results or what could go wrong, all those things. But I think if you trust the process, and every team's process looks different, and ours is different than it was last year, but I think with more seasoned players, and we're a little bit more seasoned as coaches just being here, I think our process is getting more and more solidified. So it's been fun to see how the girls have bought in.
Okay. Any pleasant surprises so far during the first couple of weeks?
Let's see. Pleasant surprises. I think where I'm excited, it's hard to go into detail, but I think we're doing things that we didn't ever do last year, just in practice. And I can tell that our girls are thinking about certain things that we didn't think about before. So
yeah.
I'm proud of the way, we're trying to run the offense, and we're taking more risks, I think. And so that has been the best surprise to me, of just them implementing the things that we've been working on. So, trying new things and then doing those in competition has been cool to watch us achieve so far.
Okay. 3 matches coming up already this weekend. A couple of very tough ones with San Bernardino and Metro. What are you looking for this weekend, Abbie? This first big weekend of the season.
I just want to play hard. I want teams to come in. We've been talking about when people come and watch you play, how are they going to think and feel about you after they leave? What kind of impression do you leave on them? And I really want people to walk into our gym and see that we love each other really well, and then number 2, that we compete really hard. And I think ways that you can tell are, hey, do we bounce back from a mistake? Are we hanging on to mistakes? Another way I think people can tell if we're competing really hard is, are we transitioning fast? Is our movement in between plays? Is our chatter in between plays? Is it loud and is it fast? And so if we can play loud and fast, I think we will, I don't know if we'll win, but I think we'd have a pretty good shot.
Okay. You're heading into your second year as head coach. How did you grow as a person and as a coach last year, and is that affecting how you're approaching this season?
Yeah, I think I've grown a lot. I'm still growing. My players challenge me a lot. I've had some meetings, and it's good to uncover some things about myself that I need to work on too. I think the biggest things I've learned from my mistakes, and maybe I'm just making different mistakes this year. I'm not making the same ones. So, just growing from that and seeing the ways that I can better myself, and I have a little bit more insight on how to prepare a little bit better, and I think that's a little bit of stress off my shoulders and a little bit more relief. And just knowing the girls better has been really fun, and knowing their personalities a little bit better and how they think and how they operate. So.
Okay. You've been through the GNAC once now. What's your thoughts heading into GNAC this year?
It's a tough conference. So, yeah, it's hard to say where the cards are going to fall, but some really good teams. There's some really smart coaches. I know we were picked 6th in the poll, and I think that's, it's tough. It's hard to say where we're going to finish. Every match I go in and I think, okay, I got to out-coach the other side, and we have some really smart seasoned coaches. So I'm learning a lot from them. They've actually poured in a lot to me, so that's been really cool. It's just how do I outsmart the opponent? How do we outsmart the opponent? It's going to be tough, but I love being able to recruit to a conference that's really tough and that you have to be on every night. I love that.
Coach's gut instinct, Abbie. What is this team capable of this season, do you think?
On paper, it's hard to tell because I don't want them to be focused on the results. I think our team is capable of taking risks, number 1, because I've seen it. I think just continuing to take risks, and then I think they're capable of doing a lot of things well. So we've been working on that. How outside of your position can you play? How much can you do that's going to help the team? Can you pass? Can you hit? Can you serve? Can you do all those things well? And I think this team is capable of being really well-rounded. And I think if we're really well-rounded, I think success is something that will come. But it's just doing the little things well. So I think our team's really capable of that. And then it's just kind of go out, play hard, and see what happens.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
You bet.